All right. Christian, from the moment you picked up that electric guitar when you were 8 years old, there was something about your drive to want to do well at it. It wasn't until we moved to Traverse City and really set you in with an instructor, Matt Sharp, that we started to see your promise start to come forward, the promise you had in your abilities. I knew something was going on. I mean, you were really latching on to scales and being able to go through the fingerboard and kind of move through some pentatonic scales and blues scales and things like that very early on at the age of like 9. But you just took off. I mean, you went from writing a couple of rhythms to playing some lead to all of a sudden you're playing solos of songs. It was like, wow, you might have something here. By about 10 years old, I'll never forget when you played that blues piece to me and you touched my heart. You made me cry. I knew you had it. I knew we were onto something special, and all of a sudden you're in the streets of Traverse City. 10, 11 years old, 12, playing in front of crowds, playing in front of people, playing songs. People request songs, you play them for them, playing them the way they're supposed to be played, going on YouTube, learning your own songs, learning what songs you want to play, mastering songs. You know, early on it was a lot of blues, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and of course Pride and Joy was one of the ones you played in the beginning more than anything. I was very proud of you. But as you broke away from just the blues genre to rock to metal to country to everything, you started being able to pick up pretty much anything. We put you in America's Got Talent audition, and of course you weren't ready yet. You were a little green and not quite ready to take on that scene, it seemed, and at least that's what they thought. You know, you probably had a lot of work to do if we look back on those videos, but you were on your way, and I was like, oh, he's going to be, you know, the greatest guitar player, watch out. We made the YouTube channel. We had a pitfall. The YouTube channel fell apart over the email and password, but you had to rebound. You got very upset over that. You weren't good at facing adversity. You almost wanted to quit. For a few months, you didn't want to pick up the guitar. I understand. It's hard to go through that. But all through this time, with this talent that God had put on your soul to pick up the guitar, and let me tell you with all my heart, you were born to play the guitar. Straight up born. That's what you're supposed to do, to bless the masses, to touch people with the gift of your music. But all through it, I was always looking to see if we'd have a kid that was growing up and taking on responsibilities and being a team player around the house and doing chores and wanting to just be a helper and be the best person you could. And you know, from very early on, I don't know if I made you a rock star, made you feel like you were everything and no one else is anything, but you just had this entitlement about you that you were great. You don't have to do anything. One day you're going to have people catering to you. And it's kind of how you lived and how you thought from a young age. It was an arrogance that I absolutely don't want in you, because I've never taught you to be arrogant. I've taught you to be humble and be thankful for the abilities that God gave you to play that guitar and to bless others. And yes, you could just pick out a song by the age of 12, 13. At age 12, you were playing Jeff Beck pieces. And you were doing things that nobody could do, just learning these extraordinary instrumentals that were virtuoso style in days. Learning these songs in days. And when you were young, maybe you weren't doing it right. But as time goes on, now you're starting to learn everything the right way, note for note, the way it's played. And you can nail tone like George Lynch. You can do vibratos now. You can play like anybody. You can pick up anything. But the most important thing I've always wanted you to pick up along this way is not to be a rock star, but to be somebody who cares about others around him and touches hearts and changes lives. And I've also wanted you to embrace what it is to take responsibility in your hands and go for it. And do the things that aren't that fun, but the things that are going to get you far in life. I'll never forget, I believe it was you were 12 years old, going on 13, and we went for a ride up in the I believe it was out on the bay. Went for a ride, went up to a winery, like I was closed because of COVID, I believe, and I had a conversation with you, and you just simply told me you don't want to grow up. It's really scary. I don't want the responsibility. I just want to be a kid. I just want to play. I don't want to take on responsibility and have to grow up and have to face all the hard things in life. And you cried in my arms, and I held you there, and I gave you a hug, and I said, it's not going to slow down. It's going to come faster. It's the true reality of life that you're going to have to grow up. You're going to have to accept this. You can't just be a rock star. You got to concentrate on learning the things you don't enjoy. And of course, you picked up the love of fishing at the age of like 6, 7 years old, maybe 4 or 5, and you just love to fish. And I understand that, and you're really good, and you could go really far in fishing as well. But the most important thing is that we find things in life that are not the funnest. Like your studies, like science, like biology, like geometry, like English, like all these things are going to get you to go real far and be recognized by colleges later. And you're going to just have to embrace what it is you have to do and say, I have to have this done tonight. Homework is due. I got to have it turned in tomorrow or else I'm going to fail. And you've just continually missed that mark. And along the way, you fell in love with Fortnite, a video game, which I understand people like to play video games. But you've got to put the video games off the side and make that your reward when you're done doing all your homework and you've done all your work to become a great musician. You're in Interlaken now, and I'm spending more money on you a month than I spend on my mortgage. And I can't afford it, and I know I can't, but I'm working so hard to make myself afford it. But I need you to come through. I love you, Christian. You gotta come through. I can't. It'll break my heart if I have to pull you out of Interlaken. It'll break my heart. My message to you is we have to have good grades. We have to take our time and do the things that are boring. We have to do the things that we're not into. We have to go into the music room and practice a regimen every night of a half hour, practicing your scales and your finger technique and your rhythms and whatever you can come up with. You have the opportunity to not be around children anymore in our house. There's nobody interfering with anything. You live in your own dorm. I've given you a dream come true for a 15-year-old. Embrace it and live it out and respect the fact that I've given it to you and love your parents for giving you this opportunity and appreciate it and show us you appreciate it by going all out in everything you do. Your instructors already said you could be the very best guitar player he's ever had and have a full ride to Berklee by the end of your senior year. You're that gifted at music, but you gotta get A's in English. You gotta get A's in biology. You gotta get A's in the classes you don't enjoy. Biology, geometry, all the math classes. And if you don't get A's, at least get B's. Give it everything you got. Hand it in time and be on time and don't miss classes. I love you, but I'm going to have to make a decision that I don't like if you don't turn it up and decide to embrace and be responsible. I know you don't enjoy being responsible. I know you're still super immature for your age, but it's time to grow up, embrace it, and mature right now. We can't go on. We can't do this anymore. I love you, Christian. I just got you that MacBook, the MacBook Air, which is outstanding, unbelievable computer for you to use while going to school. You got everything you need to be successful and become amazing in Interlaken, a school that nobody and most people don't even get a chance at. Most people don't get accepted. You're one of the only guitar players who's accepted in the world. Embrace that. Learn to read music. Learn theory. Go for this. Learn all your other classes. Take time. Inhale, exhale, and say, I'm here to become a professional one day. I'm going to spend 3 hours today on my homework. I'm going to concentrate on that first. Nothing else. I don't want to have to make this decision. I love you, Christian. Do this for yourself, not even for your family. Make this all happen. I love you. It's Christmas season. I want you to have a Merry Christmas. I know you're coming home to see the family. But I want this to be happy holidays. I don't want this to be the end of something that could have been great. I mean this with all my heart. I love you. God bless.